Come check out owlsherbs.com where we have all of your herbal needs and different variety of products from sea moss to black seed oil and a different variety of products for different health issues because your health is your wealth.
Hey, you guys, this is Courtney Camaro. I'm outside of Muhammad Ali's real original home. We're in Chicago, and I wanted to shout out Al's Botanics and Herbs. Man, when I tell you, I am one of those people that has insomnia. I can't sleep. I can't focus on some days because I'm so sleep deprived, and this has helped. This is one of the mixtures that he has that helps with sleep.
What's up? What's up? Tonight we're going to be talking about extreme realism. I talked about this concept previously years ago. I've talked about this. I had a video. It was called "It Is What It Is." During that time, I would say, in that video that I did, I was in a hotel room. I think that was about 2021. I was in a hotel room. I was still working on my house. My house was it. I was trying to get the electricity installed properly and working, so I can get electricity service at my house. A week prior than that, I was staying at a Motel 6, and that was the last time that I stayed in like a subpar hotel, and I got like a bad breakout. It was something in the sheets or something like that. I had started like breaking out in hives, man. It was like I was going through it. I was like, damn, you know, it was so bad. I think I had to like check out. I had checked out. I thought about shit. I thought about everything other than like, man, just filing a lawsuit, man. It was just like it was bad. I probably could have filed a lawsuit, and a lot of people have filed lawsuits for less. And it was like, man, it was just an uncomfortable experience. And then I just, made sure that the following week I got a better location, a different hotel, and it was like, man, I was, pretty much making about, I would say the same I was making now. I was quite a bit less, but I mean, it wasn't substantially less. It's just I didn't have the momentum, you know, that I needed. It was like, I was in the throes of my home, renovation projects. I was just barely getting started, really. I had no mechanicals working at all. I was trying to start with electricity. So yeah, I mean, I was going through it, you know what I'm saying? And I did that video. But this is gonna be very, very similar to that one. Got some comments in the comment section. Let's see what's going on. Somebody new here. Intellectual Soapbox. Salute to the broke genius. Appreciate it. What's going on? Seeking my creator. So basically, when it comes down to it, a lot of times men, I would say primarily, especially black men in America, for survival purposes, we do have to be extremely logical. We do have to practice, I would say, extreme realism. A lot, it's not like all men or all black men practice extreme realism. It is some that I would say, for whatever reason or not, they choose some type of different reality or different approach. You got some people that they have different vantage points of how they look at things. People grow up with different types of philosophies, different type of spirituality. The ways that they look at God, the way they look at religion, even, and people grow up in different environments and stuff. A lot. One thing I will say that I've been kind of somewhat thinking about is that you got some people that they could not really enjoy their childhood. Believe it or not, you would think, me coming from um the suburbs, like basically getting out of the ghetto in a early part of my childhood and moving to a better environment, let's just say. um you got people that have, because their mom, they was raised with a single mom or even both parents, they just did not have the financial wherewithal and the creature comforts to escape that hard reality, to escape hardship, to escape poverty, really. Because see, here's the thing, right? You can actually be out of poverty, right, and live around other people that are in poverty. Like, for example, living in the ghetto, primarily, that's, depending on what ghetto you live or what hood you live. Let's just say, for extensive purposes, an F grade neighborhood or D grade neighborhood. Okay, you might be doing successfully. You might come from a family that are successful, but the people around you, mostly, or let's just say a good portion of people are financially struggling, are in poverty. Dealing with, a lot of people around you are dealing with homelessness, dealing with unemployment, and also dealing with dealing with poverty. I would tell you this: unemployment, poverty, homelessness. You could call that the three horsemen of the financial apocalypse. I'll just say, hey, that, what I'm saying, this is something that I just, I had a little rest before I did this. My brain is functioning really, really well. Um, that's something that I can coin right there. The three horsemen of the financial apocalypse: poverty, homelessness, unemployment. And unemployment also means you're just not even able to employ yourself. Some people are able to employ themselves. Like, for example, that's why, somebody came on my live stream and they were like, what skill should you try to get into or tap into? And I told them trying to become some type of construction worker or handyman. The reason why is, if you got a skill and you know how to basically build homes, or you know how to build existing homes or renovate existing homes, that skill is going to be needed all around the world. Okay. And also, most people live somewhere. We're human. We live in homes. We live in modern real estate. That's been modern real estate is something that goes back probably at this point. I would say 5 to 10. I ain't gonna go too deep with it, but you know, probably the last 200 to 300 years is people have been living in modern real estate, homes with roofs, uh, you know, walls, roofs, windows, stuff like that. About I would say 300 to 500 years, and people need somebody to fix their home. That's gonna always be needed. If you know how to fix houses, that's gonna always be needed. Like for example, my handyman that helps me out with my house, he's about 64 years old, about 65. He's been working on houses for over 40 years. He he's not a rich man. He definitely got a bad habit. I think I talked about his habit. But he never goes completely broke, like where he ain't got nothing. Because even well, Gary, Indiana is having a housing boom or real estate boom right now because um, what's going on in Northwest Indiana is something that is really, really, a lot of people have no idea what's going on in Northwest Indiana. Even people, because I'm from Illinois, I'm from Chicago, right? Primarily the suburbs of Chicago, the south suburbs of Chicago. People don't have no clue about what happened in Indiana while people was focusing in on Chicago, focusing in on Illinois. What happened was a lot of people moved from Illinois to Indiana, and they started buying real estate. And Indiana primarily has a smaller population than Illinois, and it's not that developed as Illinois is. So during the 2000, let's just say 2020 housing boom, Indiana had a shortage of real estate. Okay, so while people didn't necessarily want to live in certain parts of Illinois, they wanted to live in Indiana. Even them wanting to move, even people that are from Indiana, they wanted to buy a house. They couldn't buy a house. There was no houses available. So this created something where in economics, when you learn economics, um, it's called a demand boom because the supply was so low. It was so low, non-existent, to where now you got houses that were like, let's just say $100,000. Now they're over $200,000. You got homes that was like 200. Now they're like $500,000 because on the border, Illinois, where Indiana is on the border, is some of the most prime real estate in Indiana. It's called Northwest Indiana, and those border cities in Indiana are some of the most like expensive properties, man. And I don't see it. I don't see it changing as far as price. I see maybe price projections continuing to rise, and it is absolutely crazy. So I mean, I say all of that I went down that rabbit hole to just basically say that people are moving into Gary because one, you got investors. Real estate investors always have to make some money. One of the things that you got to realize about real estate, when a lot of times when people focus on real estate, they focus on the residential aspect of it. Oh, what's going on, Snowman? Multimedia. Man, your play by play for that last Colorado State game was much needed. There is folks that don't have cable and ditched it and don't catch ESPN. So other than watching my phone and kind of watching a screen change and seeing what the score is and everything, I have no idea what actually is going on, because I just despise cable. I don't pay for anything but Netflix and my internet, because I don't know, man. In my opinion, cable is like it's like a middle class um expense that to be honest, I'm just not comfortable with. My grandfather, he had it for like 30 or 40 years. He paid for it. And then before he died, he didn't have cable. I think for the last like maybe 5 years, might even be longer, because he just saw no use for it. And when you get older, you stop making money. That's another thing that people don't realize as well. We're talking about extreme realism. A lot of the older you get, things don't necessarily get better. Like usually, unfortunately, like you start to turn into, if you're a man, you turn into an old man. If you're a woman, you turn into an old woman. Actually, 40, that's why 40 is actually called over the hill, or I think 50, I'm not sure. But nonetheless, you have to start preparing. Most 40 is the time that, and I'll go back to real estate in Indiana and my handyman. But um 40 is the time where you've been working professionally. You started entry level in your 20s. You've already put in about 20 years. And then you got another 20 years before you retire, or start to make final preparations to retire. That's what the traditional working man and woman, or primarily man in the United States, that was his life cycle. He started working in his 20s or late 20s, and then by the time he got into his 40s, he was already working about 20 years in. And then it gets to the second leg, where you put in about another 10 years. I mean, no, another 20 years, and then you start preparing to retire. And then of course it's an observation that most likely when you retire, you're not going to make your full income from your job. You're not going to make that much money as you would working for your employer. You'll make a percentage of that, and that's how that goes. So that's the employee side of things, right? um that's what most people are. Most people are in the E quadrant in Robert Kiyosaki's you know matrix or whatever. I forgot what he called it. So that's that. And when it comes down to it, a lot of people think that you're gonna get, the prime women in your 40s and 50s, and that shit, that's delusion. Even women, even women. And I have to admit, the most delusional women in the United States is black women that are older than 30 years old. They still think they got it made, even if they got a child or two. They still think that they can get the best. Their best days have yet to come. And then you get older, and then you get, by the time they get 40s, they got that deer stuck in the headlights look, right? That deer stuck in the headlights looks where they're still trying to, you know, keep on this persona. The ones that don't have children, that are basically seasoned spinsters at this point, they have already came to the conclusion that most likely they will not have any kids and be not so much a seasoned spinster, but an actual hardcore spinster. Yeah, they are very, very delusional when it comes to things, because when I think about it, I'm like, at first I was thinking white women, and I was looking at it and I was like, no, white chicks really understand. I would say, and I'm not saying, I'm not cooning or anything like that. They understand when it's, shit hit the fan. They got to start sucking more dick, you know, um, fucking more, and not saying much, and they basically know when they're fucked, and then they get fucked, and then they shut up about it, get their man, please them, and then move on with their life. Whereas a lot of times I see black women still considering, should they pay for a date and shit like that, little basic shit like that, and it's like, man, I mean, I have to say, and I'm definitely gonna go back to my handyman and the skill set of home repairs, home renovations. But yeah, I'd have to say extreme realism can really, really help you out. Even if you can get somebody to if you're delusional, to smack you. I was watching uh what is it called? I think Bridgerton, Charlotte or something. It was talking about King George and Queen Charlotte. Dude had, like, basically King George had like some mental issues, and it was a really good psychologist that just talked to him to basically reestablish reality for them. And it was very much needed. Before I started this live stream, it was almost like it was like picture perfect and serene to what I needed to, kind of like give me a vantage point of, my discussion tonight. And it's like one of the things he did was smack the king upside the head. And his guards came out. They was about to pull out their corsets, and they was about to, stab the dude, because they just saw their king get smacked. And the king was like, basically, stand back. You know, um, he was just, reminding me, he was helping me out. He wasn't hurting me. Wake your ass up. You the king. You about to get married. This is real. This is not no dream. So the thing is that extreme realism, appreciated Dave Tao, is much needed, very, very much needed. um we are we usually, yeah, that's another thing. When you get older, you're not that attractive as you were in your 20s. Your skin is not as glowing. I mean, yeah, you can do certain things. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've said this before. Okay, you can eat less. You can go change your diet. Like, to be honest, everybody probably know it's probably best you stop eating meat and go vegan if you could possibly can, or cut out meat substantially in your life, especially when you get older. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, you could put, let's just even just talk about women. You could talk about women and men. You could put women and men in a room. You could separate the women and men that eat meat versus the women and men that don't eat meat. They just basically eat, they don't eat meat. They don't eat anything that bleeds, basically. I guarantee you the women and men that don't eat meat are going to look better. Their skin is going to look better. They're, not going to be probably most likely as heavy and obese looking as the men and women that eat meat. I mean, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to extreme realism. I've been knew that. I've known that over 20 years that eating meat primarily leads you to be all big and bloated and walk around and look like a cow. Um, I know it's addictive, but and then it makes your skin look bad. And the thing is that it just comes to a reality that it's like it's right and it's wrong. It's real or delusion. And it's like I'm not trying to convince. I myself battle with eating meat and being vegan. I've been battling this for a while. Some people are able to just go cold turkey and just live their life and go vegan. Um, I'm still trying to deal with it, but I understand, like I said, as far as the pros and cons versus um, eating meat. The pros of not eating meat is way substantially um, pro versus con, right? Of not, of not of eating meat versus eating meat is way more like just better for you overall to not eat meat versus eat meat. So it's like when it goes back to like, women and being single, um, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that, like I said, when I look at, I'm not saying all white women, but yeah, a lot of times white women understand. They understand by, I think, a lot of times in their late 20s and definitely 30s. Yes, I need to start sucking more dick than talking, licking balls and all. I mean, anything that he says, I need to fucking do because if I don't, then that means I most likely will not get married. I will not get, get any satisfaction, or some of them just go be gay. And a lot of times, that's the reality of what I see what's happening to black women as well. Um, the biggest population growth of homosexuality in the United States is black women. Okay, um, and it's extreme realism. I say this out of a man that I I still I still actively primarily only deal with black women. I mean, it ain't even primarily. That's damn near all I deal with. Now I did have some I did I did tumble around in the snow probably about a year ago or whatever. And I will tumble in the snow. I'll tumble in the sand, the snow, uh, you know, the the Kush Mountains of India, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm a equal opportunist when it comes to women. But the thing is I primarily um, engage with black women. So I don't say this out of a motherfucker that don't, like black women or whatever. I'm just saying how I see it. You know, when black women say I don't want no trash bag dusties, it is a lot of trash bag dusties. Okay, I mean you could even call me a trash bag dusty. I'll take it, and I understand that concept. Like that shit is funny to me, but it is real. It is a lot of trash bag dusties. I mean, like, I mean, just think about it, right? I bought 100-year-old house. You think I ain't dealing with dust and fighting dust? I bought a vacuum cleaner, very nice vacuum cleaner, a Shark, um, about a week ago. I got a good deal on it. Man, I've been going through this house, man, and I still haven't got to my flooring. man, there's so much dust and shit. And another thing that I did was I bought a high powered pressure washer because the reason why, okay, basically I got my bare floors. This house was already prepped for construction before I got it, and the basement was like caked with dirt and stuff like that. So it's like it was tracking it upstairs. So yeah, man, I bought like a very expensive pressure washer, very very high grade pressure washer, man. I pressure washed my basement. Um, I got half of my basement wall done. My handyman was helping me out with that. But I was just saying, yeah, my handyman, he's never been where he's without money because people need him and they call him. And then Gary, there's a housing boom because one of the things Gary has that a lot of people don't have is housing. Gary, Indiana has the most housing available per capita in the United States of America. In the entire United States of America, the Gary has the most vacant housing in the entire United States. Old white dude, I told this to an old white dude that has a window company that has been in Gary for over 40 years. He didn't even know that shit. But see, one of the things about me and a lot of people on, on YouTube or whatever, the manosphere, or whatever, we love stats, and I've been a researcher, my whole life, and I loved getting down to research and stats, and I found that out a long time ago, and yeah, because one of Detroit has a lot of vacant homes as well. Chicago has a lot of vacant homes as well, but they tend to deal with them like, okay, out of all of the three cities you could think of as far as in the Midwest, let's just call them chocolate cities. Detroit, Gary, Indiana is a chocolate city. A lot of people probably don't consider it, but it is. It's right between Detroit and Chicago. The middle point is Gary, Indiana. Chicago is a chocolate city. Um, they all have issues with vacant houses. Primarily on the south side of Chicago is where a lot of vacant houses is in the south suburbs of Chicago. But Chicago does better out of all of the three. Chicago does way better with vacant houses than all of them. They have a very they manage it well because Chicago is not like what you think, where everybody getting shot up and it's all ghetto and shit. Like, nah, it's not like that. So, Chicago has a big area as far as land mass, and it's got a lot of tax money, and and they focus on certain areas, but um, they have a lot of the government and tax money to deal with vacant housing, and they're more conservative when it comes to vacant houses. They'll bulldoze a property really really quickly in Chicago. I've been on the tail end of that. So whereas Detroit and Gary, they don't really have the resources to deal with the vacant houses and demolish the homes. So they stay standing, and then it becomes urban blight and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, and then also Chicago got a lot of money, so and people need to want to live in Chicago, so they will fix up those properties and make a profit off of it. So real estate developers, real estate investors, you know what I'm saying? So he said, I eat meat, but not a lot of it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm scaling back to. I'm not eating hardly any meat whatsoever at the moment. I'm not even eating much. I'm just trying to eat cut my eating by 50 to 75% because I just want to do it overall health wise. Yeah, almost too late. I've seen, you don't know how many times I talk to women in their 40s and mid 40s, and it's like you already too late to the party. Even if you wanted to be the logical, peace loving woman that you want to be to some man, it's not like you can't really give a man really what he wants out of life. You can't produce any children, boo. The reason why you're called a woman is because you have a womb. See, the thing is that a lot of women were miseducated by their mothers, their aunts, their grandmas. So they don't understand shit till late. And then they get with other women that are miseducated, misguided, delusional. Um, I even see people on women on social media posting that delusion is a power. I'm like, what the fuck? Imagine me. I just played chess, right? I lost all 4 matches. Do you think delusion would have fucking helped me win? The fuck? Like, I mean, if anything, some more practice, some more training, would have helped me. Not no fucking delusion. So, okay, try to think. Okay, here's the deal. Go play chess with delusion and see how that fares out with your ass. That's all I can say. I can just end it right here. Go play chess and be delusional. See how you fare with that shit. Yeah, some of them. More of them know it than I would say than not. Yeah, they overstand the game. Shit. Cause yeah, they know. All right. Yeah, I ain't gonna go deep into it, but yeah, they know. They absolutely know what's up. Not all of them though. You got two. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of the women in their 40s, they still turning down dudes and shit. And it's like, I be wanting to tell. Okay, here's the thing, right? And I'm glad you kind of guided me back to this because I wasn't gonna mention it because I'm kind of all over the place. I'm gonna be honest with a lot of women, and it goes to white, like I said, white women understanding. By the time they in their late 20s, they understand. You know, this dude is the dude right here that I'm seeing. I gotta make this motherfucker want me, and not nobody else. I gotta motherfucking be the nicest, prettiest. I gotta be like a Hoover vacuum cleaner to his joint. I gotta suck in everything. I mean, I gotta be his little, fucking sex slave, damn near. And I'm gonna get this man, to obviously marry me, and I'm gonna cater to him. And then what happens is they get married, whatever. But when it comes to black women, no, maybe a few understand that, but most of them is complaining, and then they complain all the way to they in their 40s. They make entire YouTube channels and make a whole bunch of money and gain a whole bunch of followers and subscribers. And it's based off of them complaining. One of the things, okay, I'm gonna ask a question. I started this live stream over 40 minutes ago? Have I complained at one moment in this fucking live stream about anything or anybody? I'm stating my opinions and facts. Okay, I ain't complaining. But the thing is that a lot of what these women really need, and this is just an older brother to tell you what you really need to do. You need to go get another, like both you and your friends. Okay, let's say let's just call her, let's just say Nicole. Nicole need to go get Candace and her, whatever many friends is her close friends. Let's say about 3 of them. Of course, they all single as a doorknob, right? Y'all need to just go out, get with a dude. Okay, if he got one chick, cool, that's fine. Y'all all need to fucking go get in a relationship with him all at the same fucking time. That's me. That's my guys. I'm talking about you 35, 40 years old. You got kids or no kids. That's what the fuck. That's how desperate of that situation it actually is for you, and you absolutely don't know it. That's extreme. That's me giving you some game for free 99, you know, and giving you a dose or a dosage of extreme realism. You and your homegirls need to go get in a relationship together with the dude, with one dude or whatever, whoever it is. That's that's how bad it is, but nobody wants to tell you that. That's how absolutely bad, especially you 40 years old. Shit, you're cooked at that point. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that it's pros and cons when it comes to being a man. My 40-year-old nutsack I ain't gonna say it's prime, but I'm good. As long as men's health and vitality is associated with their sexuality. If your sexual drive and sexual prowess starts to fade as a man, that's a health warning sign. As a person that's a natural herbalist, a natural healer, I'm gonna tell you give you a dose of extreme realism. As a man, when your sexual vitality starts to fade, that's a warning sign to your body to let you know that you are starting to die. You're starting to get sick. You're unhealthy. You need to wake the fuck up and get healthy. Because that men sexual health is associated with their mortality. Okay.
Message.
So that's my dosage of extreme realism. That's what I wanted to let the women out there know. That's how bad it is. Now it might be, you might laugh and kiki and sniggle that off, but that's how bad it is. That's how bad you're losing in war, in dating market and stuff like that. That you and your friends have to just go get another dude that might already be in a relationship. Y'all need to just go on and all be in a relationship together. That's how fucking bad it is in America. In dating and mating in America for black people in general, especially black women. You got to go. That's my dosage of extreme realism. You got to go Utah style. That's how bad it is. You got to go fucking fish with the Mormons. Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. This is really, really bad. I see this every day. I see this every day. Women associate their employment success, even business success, with relationships. And it's the most stupid shit that I don't know. Like, I think I ain't gonna say I don't know. It's associated with men. it's like with men, yeah. If a man made partner at the law firm, he gets a starting salary of $500,000 with a base commission, a commission percentage of the firm's billings, right, throughout the year. So the firm might net 100 million. He gets about 12% of that. Okay, every year. Yeah, that's a major deal because see, here's the thing. It goes back to what I said before in my live stream. Um, and I still have not found that video circulating around. It's some old like white philosopher talking about how women they complain about things that they can resolve. Like he was talking about how women complain about how bad life is for them and stuff like that, but their complaints come with a solution. Like for example, I can complain. We can all have a complaining party about how life is unfair and nobody wants to take care of us as far as men and stuff like that. We can start complaining, right? But nothing can be done about that. As a man, unfortunately, you got to pull your bootstraps up, lift your balls, and get to work. Unfortunately, nobody is gonna save you. Yeah, it is a few women. It's some women that got some money. Yeah, they might be able to save you, but in mass, as far as numbers, they're not going to save you. It's just society is not shaped that way. But women can be saved anytime they want to. Okay. Basically following the advice that I just gave, they can literally tomorrow, with the snap of a Thanos snap, they can go get a guy. There's plenty of thirsty men that are dry with women that will basically accommodate women that have woken up, have seen the light. You know what I'm saying? You know, whereas the reality, like I said, for men don't have that reality that we can't get taken care of like that, you know. So it's like delusional to complain about something that you like. For example, you don't have to work is an option for most women. Okay, it was a time that even black women primarily were homemakers. Okay, so much so that in the early 1900s there was basically local laws to basically boycott black women to work, because the white women, they didn't have anybody to take care of their children and stuff like that, because they wanted to get into the workforce. You know, this is like basically after World War I and stuff like that. The factories was getting, pretty heavy. They needed, secretaries, they needed office workers, they needed, people to make, manufacturing and stuff like that. So they were outlawing, trying to lock up, families that had homemakers. Black women were primarily homemakers at that time, all the way up until the 1960s. Um, so the thing is that primarily what you have now, because of all of the things, and I'm not going to go through all of them, of what happened in the, in black society and the black community, um, basically, that's not the reality, much, for black women. But the thing is that primarily the homemakers, primarily now, are Hispanic, you could say Asian, and you definitely Middle Eastern, and white women, that make up primarily the homemakers. But it would be a lot more women that could be homemakers but they don't choose to do so. They have all of these, pent up frustrations and complaints and mental blockages when it comes to that concept. Primarily because of just how they were raised by their parents, by their mom, whatnot, and that's that's some like psychological headspace that they haven't worked out, and it goes into their adulthood, and then it goes into when they get older and they still having issues and stuff like that. They don't like their job and all of that, but they have the option to not have to work, but they stay stuck in this psychological mind fuck, all by proxy of them having fears and all of this other stuff about getting into that reality, but yeah, the men don't care. Yeah, we don't care. No, trust me, I don't sit and think about, I don't go to sleep at night worrying about why women make the decisions that they make. And I have to say that, this is not all about women. This extreme realism concept is not all about women. It's not about black women. It's just about extreme realism. I don't go to sleep worrying about why women or black women are delusional. That is not something that I worry about. To be honest with you, this is another version of extreme realism. A lot of men take advantage of that delusion. I am no different. Okay. You delusional enough that you think that you're a man and you can have sex as much as you want. Thank you. Thank you. You giving up that pussy, and you're what I'm saying, you want me to leave first, all that type of stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because it's like basically that's what really, to be honest, what men want is free pussy. Okay. That's what our ultimate ask is, or we want free pussy. So you think you're a man, and girls is players too and all that goofy shit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, that's what we want anyway. That we take, a lot of men take advantage of this delusion, and it is what it is. And you can give them the advice, this is what you should do, and they still don't do it. And it's like, okay, people will take advantage of your delusion, both men and women. It's just the world that we live in. People don't, they will take advantage of your delusion. That should be obvious. Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, even to be honest, in your 30s is really, really late. Here's the thing, women have a 20-year window. You can say 25-year window to get their act together. From, let's just say, puberty, 15, you know, um 25 years added to that is okay, 10, it's 20, 30, then you about 35, about 35, right? At that 20, oh wait, no, about 40. Yeah, you about 40 at that 25-year window, right? And then it starts becoming scientifically complicated to have healthy offspring, and then it becomes age, you know ageism becomes a problem because you're older. The average lifespan on average is, for black folks, it's like it's before 60. Okay, this is extreme realism. This extreme reality. Okay, because of all the problems and all the issues, whatever. I'm not gonna go. I don't have time to go down that road or talking state and all of them. The average lifespan is like 57 or 58 or something like that in the black community. Okay, for black men, it's less than black women. It's not much more. Let's just say 60. Okay, so you have let's say you have a child at 40. Statistically speaking, by the time that child is a teen, like junior, sophomore in college, you've already went to the upper room, and that kid has to deal with either finishing college with his mother dying, or daddy dying, or dealing with life. I mean, it's just reality. Like, it's possible you could live longer than that. It's very, very possible. But I'm just speaking reality. Okay, I'm like, wake the fuck up. Okay, wake up. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga, did you know that I can see
you? And it's like, basically, that's the stats. So, what am I to tell you? Like, I'm not saying that it's concrete, but the stats are the stats. And it could be even worse, you know a lot. Okay, that chick from 702. I don't really want to go. I don't really want to stay. But can we get it together? Man, do you know how many times I done listened to that song from the time I was in high school to now? Man, 702, man, 702, man, they was the shit, man. In high school, the picture image, man, of, I'm talking about you wanting a black woman, 702, man, was the freaking profile of a woman if you wanted to date in high school. At my time, that was like, that was the fucking example. You know what I'm saying? And one of the chicks in the group, she, just passed away. She wasn't number 43 years old. 43 years old, man. And it's been many people, since I've been in high school, that have passed away. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say a lot, but quite a few. Shit, I went to high school with my sister. My sister gone. My sister died, I think, at 40. Yeah, I think she died at 43. And she was left with 4 daughters. You know what I'm saying? They had to figure things out. Now they father stepped in. One thing I will admit, my sister, she was a baby mama, through and through. All her friends damn near pretty much, most of them was baby mamas. She did pick she ain't pick no bums. She not one of my sister's baby fathers was a bum. They were all, able to step in. They was in their daughter's life and shit like that, one moment or another. But they fine. They tapped into their daddy side of the family and shit like that. But she's gone. They ain't 20s. My youngest niece was a preteen, like just made 13 years old. Like, mama already gone. Extreme realism. It's delusion. Delusion ain't gonna save you, bro. Sis, man, it's not gonna save you. And I know, it's rough. Because the thing is the reality may suck. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. Reality, man, sometimes I would say for a lot of people, reality, man, sucks ass. I mean, sucks fucking sewer juice. But the thing is that if you don't deal with it, if you don't face it, they ain't gonna go away. You gotta fight to survive. Everybody has to fight to survive. But the thing is that you make the choices you make. Even myself, I mean, I ain't necessarily make the best choices. I ain't, I'm working on that. I'm a work in progress, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, the one on the far right, yeah, like she's gone. She already went to the upper room. She's 43, for whatever reason. So you thinking you gonna make it to 60 at least, drop a baby, shit, you don't even make it to 60. You out of here by 44, 40, 43, 42, you out of here. You out of here in your early 40s. You just had a baby, because see, the thing is that this is another thing. We talking about extreme realism. I got time tonight, I'm a night owl. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm a night owl. So, that's think that's gonna be like that, for a minute. But the thing is that when it comes down to it, let's go to chess. Let's go to chess. You ain't supposed to be with you. You're supposed to have a woman. As a man, you're supposed to have a woman. Yeah, you're supposed to have a woman. You're supposed to have multiple women. I'm just talking about chess. I'm just talking about chess. You're supposed to have a woman. You're supposed to, if you really, really winning, you're supposed to have multiple women, right? As a woman, you are supposed to have I mean, this is what this ain't no different than what I would tell my daughters. You better have a man. I'm talking about you got to have a man. That's what I would tell them. You don't need, it's optional. You could be in no, you have to have a man. Okay? Have to. You can't even live without a man. That's what I would tell my daughters. You can't live. You need a fucking man. Have to. And there's no options. No other options. Because I'm looking at it like the game of chess. I'm looking at it like chess. Okay? So with that being said, these women are living life without a man and they're, thinking that it's optional and all that. No. Okay, this is something that I thought about. These are thoughts that I've had over the weeks, months, years. I even thought about my parents. My mother and father, man, they helped each other out. They needed each other. It's different times in their life. They didn't know it. I seen it. But they absolutely needed each other. If they didn't have each other, they were fucked. And then when they were without each other, they were fucked. Be honest. But yeah, like your life as a woman is going to be hard as fuck without a man. And they already are going through it right now as we speak. And even for a man, not having a woman, it's fucking difficult as fuck. Try playing chess when the other opponent already took your queen and you don't have a queen and they have their queen already. Most people resign. I'm not the type of person I would resign. I'm a fighter, so I'll fight it out. But most times I lose. I would say in most cases, that's a fool's gambit. You're going to lose the game. You got a huge disadvantage when your opponent has his queen. You don't have your queen. Huge disadvantage. So, the thing is that that's leading to this this mortality, in my opinion, this early mortality. These women being too single, too much, too often, not having viable men for whatever reason in their lives. You know, I'm not gonna go into detail about what a man provides and all that. For the sake of time, sake of discussion, I'm not gonna. I've had all kinds of videos where I talked about that, but that's the thing. That's what I'm noticing as a let's just say as an OG, a young OG. I noticed this. I noticed, okay, it's something linked to women getting up out of here early, living these hard ass lives, living these masculine ass lives, and getting on up out of here early, having hard lives, you know. Yeah. And that factor is them not having not being under a man's um protection, guidance, um all kind of stuff, man. You can say study, because women learn from their men. If their man is like has any understanding or any level of intelligence, you know, they learn from their men, you know, and you don't have that as your access, you're you just at a huge deficit. Appreciate it, man. I'm still working on that picture, man. If you remember what I was talking about with the goat, you know. What's going on, my man? Man, I just say that, man. I had a little a skirmish, man, with Charles, man. I definitely, it's I don't have no hate, man, for the brother. Never really did. I'm cool, and yeah, I mean, speaking as such, man. Like for example, a woman that learned how to let's just say, for the sake of discussion, um, she got somebody like Charles Faulkner, man, teach her how to shoot at the range. That might save her life. A lot of women, they probably don't know how to shoot a gun. They don't even, might be of gun averse. They get with somebody like Charles. Charles teach them how to shoot. They carry their little purse, and they got their little nine, a Glock 9, and something happens to them. They know how to shoot, man. They could pull that gun out and shoot, a perpetrator, because what they had a boyfriend. He taught him how to shoot. Your father is supposed to teach you how to shoot, but for whatever reason, a lot of times that's not taught. I'll just say this: one of the things I noticed, white men, they teach their daughters how to shoot. That's one of the things that I do notice. Okay, long time ago it was the bow and arrow. That was the primary weapon. Now today's weapon, the primary weapon, is the rifle and or small sidearm firearm, and that's what you should. I'll just even say religiously, when I used to really be into Islam and practicing Islam, one of the things they said, Prophet Muhammad said, peace be upon him, said to teach their children is how to ride the horse and how to shoot the arrow. That was what they used at the time. So now is teaching your children how to drive a car and teaching them how to shoot a gun. That's what that's like one of the practices back then, and that's what that's what the prophet said. Teach your children how to shoot. So imagine, okay, let's just go all the way to the extreme. Let's go into let's go into war talk. We got the one of the most famous Aries on YouTube, Charles Faulkner. Let's talk about, you got the god of war himself. Let's talk about war. If all of the children know how to shoot a bow and arrow and ride horseback, what impact you think that does in neighboring lands, neighboring countries and stuff like that? You basically create, if you watch the Game of Thrones, you basically create, I think them people was called the Dark Rathians or something. Basically the horse people, the people that was on the horse and they were shooting the bow and arrow and stuff like that. Like that's basically what you create. You creating a bunch of, like, basically you creating like the Mongolians. That's how the Mongolians took over. They were horseback. They were very highly skilled in horseback and archery and other like war tactics and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean it's shit, man. I mean it is what it is, So yeah, women are at a huge disadvantage, man. When it comes to them not being under a man's uh guidance and personification. Basically, you can hold them back. You can look like a threat to not be best with. You will not be conquered. Look at the movie Patriot. Yeah, yeah. The Revolutionary War is kind of tripped out, man. Just the concept of it, when you really think about it, and then you kind of see those series. I definitely saw the movie The Patriot, but it's another series that I think it used to be. No, it used to be on. I think it was on Prime. I think it might have been on Netflix. And let me look up that series because I forgot. It was a series about the Revolutionary War spies, and that was a good series, man. Yeah, it used to be on Netflix. It was what was that? What was that damn? It was on AMC, I think. Turn. It was called Turn. Man, that was tripped out, and that only happened. The Revolutionary War was what? That was like 400. No, it was 300 years ago, and man, it just tripped out when you really think about it, man. The British was absolutely gangsters. A lot of people don't even know that still to this day. Like I just got my passport. And it's tripped out. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm most likely be traveling, man. I don't know when, but the thing a lot of people don't understand is how gangster the British are. I know how gangster the British are because this is why I know. I mean, just outside of being born in America and everything like that, and then kind of just understanding history. My father is from Ghana. Okay, Ghana had to fight directly the British. Okay, uh, I mean, that whole area, Nigeria, Senegal, the good part of West Africa, they had to directly fight the Europeans. I'm talking about like directly. I'm talking about imagine a whole bunch of ships launching off the coast, you know, sieging the coast. They had to fight these people, man. And they were absolute back then. They were absolutely barbaric, absolutely gangster. Uh, they fought and won a couple times. One of the greatest militaries one of the greatest empires the world has seen. They said at one time the sun did not set on the British Empire. You can even say part of the British Empire is the United States and has never have left. Some people even say, when I used to be into like really into conspiracy and all that shit, they said the British really do have control over the United States. Like people think that the Revolutionary War was won and blah blah blah. They still like I do believe that. I do believe like the British Empire has controlling like controlling, let's just say, interest in the United States, and it has always had. Now the thing is that I'm gonna get out of there, but going back to the British being gangster, like yeah, like they not, you know what I'm saying? Like you I mean, how they just took over, and they can't show you everything that absolutely happened on TV, but they controlled the entire colonies, and they controlled a good portion of the eastern seaboard and stuff like that during that war. They would just do whatever they want to. You talking about the British Empire? You talking about the people that controlled the early Americas. That was part of their lands that they had control over. So you got talking about some ragtag militias that wanted to go against the British Empire, ruled by a king. I think it was the same king. Yep, the same king that was married to Queen Charlotte at the time, King George. Now, yeah, they went to war and won. I mean, they used they had help with other European countries as well as um, France primarily, because France was Britain's arch enemy, right? But yeah, I never, and I know extensively as far as the British, like absolutely gangster, absolutely ain't nothing to fuck with. So you think you get you a passport, you think think you just I'm American, blah, blah, blah. Man, you don't know who you dealing with, buddy. Okay, New York, I have a very highly regard when it comes to what I'm saying, new get people from New York, what I'm saying, men from New York and shit like that, what I'm saying. I'm sure they got some some respect to when it comes to Chicagoans, what I'm saying, but shit, it's called New York, okay, because it was York in from York in England, what I'm saying, like yeah, man, them motherfuckers is gangster, man. They are gangster to the max. Okay, don't think for a second they ain't, and they still are, so what I'm saying, you do not want to play around with them motherfuckers, man. I promise you, buddy. Promise you. Yeah, they used a lot of guerrilla tactics to beat the British. I mean, the Revolutionary War was, if you had to put it in a nutshell, it was a very much contrived, structured barrage of guerrilla attacks on the British, and with the help of the French Navy. Okay, without the French Navy, we'll be speaking King's English. We'd be like, I want a cup of tea and some fish and chips. Anybody seen Jessica X? I want to fuck her. Where's she at? Like that's it. That's how we'll be speaking, man. Everybody be speaking like that if without the French Navy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, we went on the nutshell. Definitely extreme realism. I would have to say, um, because men, I'm black. I have no other choice to be so, but that we have to deal with extreme reality. We have no choice. Women have the option to kind of somewhat be delusional. They can be delusional to a certain extent because society will help them, other women will help them, um, and of course men will help them. We cannot afford to be delusional. So a lot of times, I just say even men in itself, we have to be extreme, and we go to battle. We go to war. I'm a war veteran myself. I lifted my nut sacks and I signed up to join the U.S. military. You know, um, you know, to survive, you have to be extremely realistic to survive that. Okay. Um, just overall, just day to day, you know, um, men can't really strive and thrive and be delusional. We'll get absolutely obliterated. We don't really have the option, to be honest, to really be delusional. That's an extreme sign of weakness as a man if you're delusional. Men will, you know, take you for being a wacko, a nut, um, someone not to be taken serious. You even got guys on YouTube that I would say is very, very delusional as well. But you call them whack jobs or whatever. But we really can't afford to be delusional. And from that, I would say a lot of what comes in, and I'll go back to the reason why delusion might be something that it's like an escape. It's an escapism. It's some type of escapism of reality. A lot of times, the brain might push you towards wanting to be delusional because it might feel good to think something is something that is not. If you really dwell on your situation, if it's not something that's nice or pleasing in reality, um it makes you feel bad. Let's just be honest. Like, um if you're completely, let's just say, flat broke, you don't really have a lot going on. It might even be worse than that. You might be dealing with all kind of stuff. It's comforting to not think about it. It's another thing to kind of dwell off into, states of fantasy and delusion. And that's your body trying to escape from reality. Some people even take it a step further. They get into illicit drugs. A lot of people get into illicit drugs to escape that reality, right? And it becomes a serious issue. I'm glad I've mentioned drugs because I didn't really I didn't really put that in perspective. A lot of people use drugs in the United States. You could put marijuana in there, you know, um, crack, heroin is a big thing um going on right now, mixed in there. The big thing is heroin is being mixed with fentanyl, and they're mixing that with is some other like zombie type of drug that they're using. And people are trying to self-medicate themselves. I'm gonna play a video because the drug aspect is actually a major deal when it comes to this concept of people trying to escape realism. So the biggest thing example is Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia. You know, you know, that's where, for whatever reason, um, people, and now it's somebody that's going live. It's so major that you could literally, like, let me show you. There's a live stream of Kensington, Philadelphia, and it's not to say that this ain't going on. I can take you to Chicago. I can get in my car right now and go to the west side of Chicago. They're open air drug markets. There's open air drug markets, different part, my west siders. But yeah, man, Kensington, Philadelphia, for whatever reason, they let this go on, you know. And this is me and Charles were talking about the Revolutionary War. Philadelphia was very pivotal in the winning of the Revolutionary War, and this is what your forefathers, what I'm saying. This is what they have to, this is what they fought for right here. They fought for, people hanging out, getting strung out on heroin cocktails. So somebody set up like a 24-hour footage of Kensington. You can see all the trash on the street. They hanging out. Somebody in a wheelchair, and the reason I have to say I'm definitely a betting man. The reason why this person is in a wheelchair and then they pushing somebody else in a wheelchair. Okay, so when you shooting up heroin and all of that type of stuff, right? You start losing actual muscle tissue, and your muscle fibers they get infected. Bacteria starts to set in, gangrene starts to set in, and then they actually start losing limbs and become disabled to where they can't even walk. They can't even walk if they wanted to, because their legs start getting infected from shooting all of this heroin cocktail inside their leg. So they get on a wheelchair, and they have to have people push them around, trying to self-medicate themselves, trying to escape the reality. Yeah, I'm glad I caught this shit. I wasn't even probably gonna even talk about drugs, how that kind of goes into this conversation, but it is a major part of this conversation. Drugs, the narcotics industry, going for, all of the Americas, Canada, North America, Mexico, South America, is a multi-trillion dollar industry. Multi-trillion-dollar industry. And there's tons of customers, and people are making tons and tons of money. Another thing is, I have to say, I'm not looking down at nobody that sell drugs or nothing like that, but I understand their reality. I've thought about that reality. Like, people actually, they sell dope and everything like that. They make a lot of money doing it, and they kind of in a way escape reality as well, because they don't have to punch a clock. They don't have to go into a corporate office in the morning, have to worry about, uh, do they go to work or not? Do they get paid and all that? They got a lot of other things to worry about, but some of the I don't know how many, but quite a few of the individuals that sell dope, they don't have to worry about money. They got tons and tons of money, and they making a lot of money. Not all of them, but they making so much money. Quite a few of them, they don't have to work no job. They have completely escaped uh, the workforce, and they don't have to. They'll you know they got problems to deal with. They got quite a few problems to deal with within that world. But as far as like having to worry about working a job, I mean, here's the thing. This is what nobody has said. I remember Alan Roger Curry was, talking about people in the manosphere and then stuff like that. Like, it's certain people that's gay, it's certain people that got mental issues, it's certain people that's incels, it's a percentage of people that do drugs. I'm gonna tell you like this. It's also people in the manosphere that sell drugs, and you would never know. So you gotta imagine. It's every facet of life represented and sell dope, obviously. But you got people that they actually selling drugs, and they got YouTube. They just so happen they YouTube content creators as well. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, yeah, man. It's a big deal. It's a big, it's a $1 trillion economy, man. The the narcotics, um, illegal drugs, trillions of dollars, man. You know, I'd even say this, man. I just got my passport, right? So I'm starting to go and see what countries are available. Like, I used to just like go on the app and see how much it costs to go to Florida, how much it costs to go, to New York or LA and shit like that. Now I'm putting whole countries and shit in there, right? So this, I've been, I'm part of the tinfoil hat gang to a certain extent. Um, I'm putting in Toronto. I'm like, okay, well, I just got my, speaking of the British Empire, they had Canada. So, once the war ended, they just went up north and they stayed there. You know what I'm saying? So um Canada is part of the British Empire, you know what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, I was like, all right, let me just go, let me go to Toronto or whatever. Because I heard Toronto, I heard some stuff about Canada or whatever. It's a quick trip, right? It's right there. So I put in Toronto, and at the time, Toronto was like $300 round trip, about three something. And I'm like, okay, I put in other different destinations of like, where I was thinking about going, Brazil, and whatnot. And then I put in Colombia. I put in Colombia and Medellin, right? And the fucking same price to go to Medellin, Colombia is like it's I want to say it was even cheaper to go to Colombia than it was to go to Toronto. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? This don't make no fucking sense. This shit is wild. So you mean to tell me Toronto, I'm in the Midwest. I can go to fucking Colombia to go to which is, like literally what 600 800 wait, no, about, let's say about 800 miles away, 700 miles away or something like that. Maybe let's just say about 900 miles away. I don't know, give or take. But Colombia is gotta be like you going into like 2,000 miles away from me. So I'm thinking like I got my research brain, I got my Virgo brain, right? And I'm thinking about, okay, let's keep it real here, right? You know, um, I watch all the Narcos. I watch. I know quite a bit about Mr. Pablo Escobar. And even the hippos. In case y'all didn't know, okay, Pablo Escobar had a private zoo, and he's making so much money, right, off of crack cocaine coming in, right, uh outside of Colombia and stuff, outside of South America, right, to Mexico and everything. That hippos shipped from Africa to Colombia. Now, because it's just a huge ordeal, because obviously they dealt with, they went to war with his cartel and Mr. Escobar. Now he left these what was left was these hippos. My man got his t-shirt off. He got his shirt off. It's gotta be like 1 a.m. over there, because it's the East Coast in Philadelphia. But he basically they got these hippos that still breeding, they thriving. And everybody know hippos are not from Colombia. It's no hippos. Hippos is, yeah, that's Philly. That's Philly. Hippos is not that's not part of their habitat. So they just let them alone. People, it's a tourist attraction. So you can go see, Escobar's hippos, down there. They got a whole family of them. It's like 20 or 30 of them now. And they all originated, from Escobar's hippo. Yeah, I mean, I heard Baltimore was like this. Charles, he could tell me, I for some reason or not, like Kensington, Philadelphia is this one strip that's just, it's a huge media storm, as far as like, they focus on this street. And this is an open air hangout. You know, um, you know, uh junkies hang out where the drugs are. That's where they, it's like a bar. Like somebody that likes to drink, they hang out at a bar. That's where junkies hang out. They hang out right near the dope spot. You know. Yeah, that's Philly. That's not Baltimore. That's Kensington. This is Kensington Street in Philadelphia somewhere. I've never been to Philly. Um, One of my favorite movies is Trading Places. You know what I'm saying? You know, Philly is I ain't gonna say Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, it's got a reputation, man. It's hardworking, steel city as well. A lot of people don't know, like, steel city. Philadelphia is a steel city. Like Gary, Indiana is a steel city as well. But you also have, I think, yeah, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, has a lot of steel.
Quick, take a screenshot to see 3 reasons why life's better.
Dude went to commercial.
They got it.
Hold on. Let me, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. This is actually not that, like, you could, like, dude, you could create a channel of a live stream of a open air drug market, get it monetized. That shit is crazy. That is wild. I absolutely did not expect no fucking commercial to roll of an open air drug market. I mean, that's why, I'm not, I'm not I mean, yeah, I am laughing, but that shit is wild, man. This is like bonkers. Dude, somebody just tapped into a local live feed and came up to, and monetized their channel, because obviously people watching this shit. Let me see how many people viewing this. I mean, obviously I'm viewing it, but I was watching this, and dude, and they got monetization going, so he making money off of people. That shit is wild, man. I can't make this shit up, man. I can't make this shit up if I wanted to, man. Yeah, people doing anything for a YouTube paycheck, man. And I mean, hey, that's capitalism. I ain't, what I'm saying? I'm just tripped out. I didn't think of this shit. To be honest, I'm just, what I'm saying? I'm late to the party. Oh man.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
Yeah, you will get demonetized, man, for, like, talking about black women's. I mean, it's tripped out, man, on who they choose to monetize and who they don't. Like, people be thinking that if you can't cuss, like, if you cuss, you gonna get demonetized. That is a bunch of crocker shit. I'm gonna tell you why. If one man, I could tell you why that's a crock of shit. Charleston White be talking about sexual assaults, murder, saying racist comments, all kind of shit. Them damn videos be getting monetized. And y'all just, the thing is, it's about views. Even Tommy, I remember when Tommy saw it, because see, the thing is, Tommy got so many haters. That's why he lost his channels and stuff. You lose your channels not because of YouTube. You lose your channels because a bunch of haters are, hiding in the wing and they report. Once YouTube gets so many reports, because they get tired of reports, they will fuck your channel up. Like, that's like he has so many haters that's why he kept losing his channel. That's what it is. Like, it ain't because you cussing or anything like that. It's people be hating. You got, then you got, what I'm saying? If white people don't like you, just think of how many white people there are. They can report you and you're done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, Man, like I mean, dude, that's really what it is. It's not necessarily YouTube. It's like people on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they got monetization of an open air drug market in Philadelphia. But yeah, I'm gonna click off of this. I just had to show that. Um, yeah, I it's a power of extreme realism, man. From that power, while people on the right, they're stuck in fantasy land. They're lying to themselves every day to cope with life. They're, shooting up, all kind of cocktails in their body and stuff like that. You day to day, you're focused, sharp on your battle plan, your goals, your game plan, what you need to do for the week, what you need to do for the day, um, taking care of your business, taking care of your life. You know what I'm saying? You're going to thrive. Your family is going to thrive, while others will be off to the wayside. And that's the reality of this, what I'm trying to tell you. And you're gonna have people that not like you and all that other stuff because you chose to do A while they chose to do B. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's a good question, and I don't really know from the civic level or law enforcement level, government level, why this allowed. It's kind of like that episode of Amsterdam off the wire. Why do they let open air drug markets? I'm gonna tell you a story about that too. I'm gonna tell you an open air drug market story in Chicago on the west side. I'll never forget about this till this day. I'll be an old man in a wheelchair, and this shit blows my fucking mind. In the west side of Chicago is, they call it the Wild Wild West, and the stuff I seen on the west side of Chicago is mind fucking blowing, man. I seen people drive on the actual sidewalk on the west side of Chicago. West side of Chicago is wild. Okay. Now here's the thing. As a man, if you want to get laid, like Cameron said, the west side of Chicago is the best place to go to get laid. God bless the west side of the black women in the west side of Chicago. That's all I'm gonna say. They got like a flair of South, because see, here's the thing with the west side of Chicago, right? The black people on the west side of Chicago are some of the last people that migrated from the South. So they still kind of like, they still there and everything like that. They still got generations of households and stuff. And one of the good things about the good qualities of the black women from the South, they're taught to cater to their man almost to oblivion. And also, one quality that I enjoy about, let's just say, I like black women from Georgia. I get, out of all of the women that I'll say in America that I've had good experiences with were black women from Georgia. They don't like to tell you no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just think about that. Like, I mean, no is a foreign concept to them to a certain extent. And of course, I mean, you could, that's, I mean, I ain't gonna go into that, but the thing is that that's a beautiful thing. When they really like a guy, they not gonna be too kindly into telling them no. You know what I'm saying? Salute electrician 480. What's going on? Electrician 480 in the house. Shout out to you. Yeah, we, electricians, man. I ain't gonna say how many times I just thought about just doing a full stop and just going into being an electrician, because honestly, electricians make more than what I make. A union electrician, and I think in Illinois and the Chicagoland area is a little under. I think they're about $40 or $50 an hour. Um, I don't make that. I'll just say that. Working in IT support, I don't make that. Okay. Now the thing is, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, as far as what I was saying, um, I had a brain fart. Yeah, I was talking about women from down south. Yeah, the Georgia women. Yeah, that's been my experience. I mean, somebody else's experience might be something different, but my experience is from being in the military, being in the Navy. You deal with women in different parts of the country. Women from Georgia, um, you know, God bless them. That's all I could say. But yeah, man, it's you said Detroit electricians at $42 an hour. Oh, okay, that's what's up. That's good. Cause see, yeah, Detroit got a lower cost of living too. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand. I know people like, I ain't living in Detroit. I ain't living in Gary, Indiana, or whatever. I mean, the thing about it is, right, that lower cost of living. I mean, I know you got to deal with a lot of shit, a lot of ghetto shit and all that, but that you got to think about that lower cost of living. Okay, you think about a house that's less than $100,000 that's move-in ready. A lot of people in America do not have that reality. To live in the hood in LA is $1 million. I'm gonna repeat that. To live in the ghetto in LA is a $1 million home is what you got to come out your pocket or get a mortgage with $1 million. Okay. So you talking about a move-in ready home, single family home, 4-bedroom, 2-bath with a basement. Okay. Let's just say a finished basement for less than $100,000. $100,000. I mean, hell, you get you a Glock, get you a M16 AR-15, a fence, put a fence up, get you a motherfucking a cane corso or a Rottweiler, some cameras. Ain't nobody gonna bother you, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get you a ADT system installed or whatever. You gonna be straight. And then at the end of the day, right? So let's say you gonna get a mortgage or whatever. Your mortgage is $500 a month. Okay, you and your lady, y'all make $200,000 a year combined. You can just travel every weekend. You don't even have to stay there at the house. You save enough money, and then next thing you know, about year 2, you got another house somewhere way nice, and you rent that house out, and it's laid, and you just collect Section 8 money. That's how you do that. That's the game plan there. You don't have to stay in these communities. It's a launching pad to, kind of, get in a better situation, because these places, people might not feel comfortable living there, but they make money off of renting housing. I never forgive some dude, some white real estate investor. I think he was from like Florida or something. He had a video about Section 8, and it just tripped me out because it's a white dude talking about investing in the ghetto. That was the title of his video. His name is you probably seen one of his YouTube ads. His name is I think it's Phil Puciacki or some Polish name. I don't know, but it's some kind of bald and white dude, man. Do real estate investing. He got courses and shit, but Yeah, he had a video on investing in the ghetto, and that shit was trip. That shit was so funny, but it's so true. Like a lot of investment groups that are they're primarily white owned. They invest in the hood. They might not necessarily live there, but they make money in the hood, or quote unquote or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's all you got to do, man. Like I said, I mean, you kind of thug it out for a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Fix the house up or whatever, and then what I'm saying, rent it out, or you could Airbnb it, whatever you want to do, and then that's it. That's all. You move on. I ain't glorifying the hood. Um, a lot. To be honest, Gary, Indiana, 30 to 40 years ago, 50. Nah, I'll say about 60 years ago, it wasn't a hood. Believe it or not, Gary, Indiana, Detroit, Chicago. You go in a time machine, you go back to like 1950. All of these cities was majority white. I kid you not. That's why the houses and everything, kind of like nice, and the infrastructure and stuff they left, because the white folks built that shit up and they left. You know what I'm saying? And black people moved in. So it's like, I mean, I ain't gonna go into detail about that, but yeah, um, you make $42 an hour in Detroit as an electrician. You balling. You absolutely balling. You got a skill that's in high demand. So that means you work in a job, a union job, and then you got people calling you at work and calling you after work because they need your services at their home. Electricians are in high demand. They're under served in a lot of communities, a lot of parts of the country, because it's not that many electricians. So being broke is a choice. Being financially inept is a choice. I mean, you don't have to be like you to be an electrician is just simply a matter of you wanting to be an apprentice for a couple years or two, or work. You can work under a electrician and then go, pass a test or whatever, and you could get your certification, man. I know a little bit about electricity myself. Like, I know how to install outlets. I know how to do some advanced wiring, and this was because I working on my house myself. So I still have to get help. When I get some like wires that I can't get connected and stuff like that. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you it should be like, I'll say this, like it should be like a resurgence of electricians, man. Like, it should be like, you got guys that don't like to do trucking and shit like that. Um, you could be an electrician. This point, that's it. Like, you just, what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you live in a metro city, like, anywhere, Chicago, LA, Miami, definitely New York, LA, anywhere where there's a big population, over 100,000, a million people, electricians are going to be needed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, IT speaks for itself. I mean, I ain't gonna, that's never gonna stop. No time soon. It's in high demand. I can help you with that. All you have to do is reach out to me. I can help you get into that. No, I can help you get into IT in 90 days or less. Literally, if you're committed to it, and you can make, you can get in at least more than what you making at, if you're working at Starbucks or something, or Jimmy John's. Okay, that's what's up. Right, another 25 in pocket money. That's just it's just your pocket money, your date money, or even if you got a wife or girlfriend, fun money or whatever. I mean, yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's the life right there. It's always like if you got skills, it's always you're a business owner by proxy if you having no skills. If you want to, some people they don't want to work outside of their job, but if you do have the stomach for it, you could be a business owner and actual employee for a company as well. And you don't even really, if like, to be honest, that 24K for me, that's enough for me to live off of, and I could just bank my paychecks, or tap into them or whatever, when I want to. But 25,000 is enough for me to live off of. Because I keep because I do practice extreme realism. I have a very low budget as far as like expenses. And that's another thing. Like, one of the things about living in a low cost of living area, your budget is low. You have a low budget because, while somebody's paying $1,500 a month for a mortgage, your mortgage is $500. Okay. Or you don't have a mortgage. Like me, I'm, going through a renovation. I don't have any mortgage. It's a pro and a con with that, but the pro is I don't have a mortgage. The con is I have a renovation project that is 60 to 70% complete, and it's rough, and I basically, because I don't have any loans or anything, self-finance. So, it's basically project by project, paycheck to paycheck, So yeah, but yeah, man, it's extreme realism, man. I suggest if you are delusional, especially women, wake your ass up. Deal with, like Michael Jackson said, man, the man in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Deal with the good and the bad and the ugly, and try to do the best you can with it. I'm gonna be signing off. Basically, yeah. Practice extreme realism if you can. Like, share, subscribe.